Hey y'all, this is AL Think Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is one of the reunion specials. I don't know how many they gonna have, but we'll see. Uh I'm trying to understand why everybody want to sit up here and have their situations in LA. In California, whether it's LA or not. Why is everybody having something in California? I didn't understand why the verses was in California. Like I'm trying to understand what's going on. Now I know that like certain people don't live in their respective cities and states anymore, but why it had to be in California, that didn't make no sense. And this is in California, and I'm like, why? Like it's not making sense to me. But go off though. Um, this is going to be one of those instances where I watch and review, recap as I go. I haven't seen it in its entirety. I've literally watched like the first 15 minutes. I'm going to try to do like 10 to 15-minute intervals and then stop it and say what I'm going to say and then keep going. I have the red leaf raspberry tea on hand. I'm sparing y'all today because I'm now wearing the black lipstick. I'm looking right at it, but I was like, let me spare them because they love reading me, telling me I look so much older when I wear it. So I was like, well, all right, I'll spare y'all today. But trust and believe it's not gone. Y'all gonna see it again. So yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said, I was already looking at these people like, why is this in California? But go off though. Um, Everybody is getting ready for the show, for the taping, and nobody is aware as to who the host is. They have not had a reunion in like 2 years. Um, and it's just a situation where eventually he's asking people like, do you have any questions for me? And Melody was like, well, who's going to be the host? And he let her know, Carlos King let her know that he is going to be the host. So as he goes around and he lets everybody know that he's going to be the host, everybody is cool with it except for like Martell Hope, Letitia Scott, and Marceau Scott. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like Marceau and Letitia seem the most bothered by it, and I'm like, why? Like it's crazy. Like they were just like, ooh, wait a minute. Like the way they responded, you would have thought that he had some like exclusive tea on them and they were scared that it was gonna get out. And it's like, let me pull him to the side. Like, how much we need to pay you so you don't tell them certain things because you know too much. I was just like, why are they responding like that? So anyway, they end up going over a whole little collage and reflection of everything that has gone on or whatever. And then, everybody started talking and they wanted to know, like, do you feel like a lot of stuff that has gone on, it hasn't really shown a lot? And people were like, look, I know a lot of y'all looking at us like, oh well, we ain't really doing nothing, it's a small town. And coincidentally enough, Melody and Martell were the ones who brought this show to Carlos King. And I didn't know that. I guess they were making it seem like it was going to be about construction work or something. I don't know, unless he just didn't know. Marceau was talking about he was confused about the title. He sent an email where he was very infuriated about it, the title of it being Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think it had another title at one point in time, and then they decided up here and changed it. So he was looking like, what is this about? Because he thought it was going to be about them building things because he's a construction worker ultimately. Like he knows that realm of it all. So it's like, what is we talking about? I'm good at that. I'm not good at love and marriage. And I was like, wait, wait a minute. So anyway, then they were, talking to Melody and Martell and wanting to know whether or not they feel like this was a situation that ruined their marriage. Do you think that if the show never happened, would that have been something that would have possibly saved your marriage? Do you think you still would have been married? Martell feels as though they would still be married had this show not happened. Melody laughed and she was like, nah, she doesn't think they would still be married. He feels as though he is a big part of the reason why she is the brand that she is now. And this show was brought to Carlos King because it's something that he wanted to do for her. And she was like, look, if you are in a marriage with somebody, you are supposed to support that person and you're supposed to push that person and vice versa. So it's like, don't try to make it seem like you've done these things and that you are the one. And like, y'all know how Martell is. He will sit up there and make it seem like if it wasn't for me, you would be nothing. Like that's why she always roll her eyes and all of that. My thing is like, yes, we've done this together. All of this happened because of us. Like the way he says stuff, it legit comes off as it's because of me. And that's why when he was talking about how he wants 50% of the proceeds that comes from any song that she sings and all of that, especially if it's a song that he deems is about him, even though it can apply to everybody in their mama who's been through that situation, which it happens all the time, he think he need to get 50% of it. It's like, boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. Anyway, this is just the beginning. I'm pretty sure it's going to get very explosive sooner than later. But right now they're tame. Of course, the cheating and the side chick stuff has come up. About Kimmy. This is the part we're talking about right now. We ain't got into Martell and we ain't got into the alleged side babies and things that Marceau has, because I'm pretty sure Carlos is gonna bring it up. But yeah, wanting to know like what you think about that, what's going on with that, and the situation and the relationship between Kimmy and Kaiwa. And, you know, the fact that whenever this situation is brought up, how Maurice never defends his wife. He is just like his brother in that regard. Like, I'm like, my thing is this. I will protect my spouse, especially if I know it's true. Don't sit up here and tell me that my wife was a side chick to me when she wasn't. If that was the case, why wouldn't you just say, look, I'm just going to say this right now. Like, as hard as he went off over his son vaping and other people finding out about it, he should have went just as hard for Kimmy. I'm sorry. I understand that he is blood related to him, but that's his wife. And if that was the situation, I wouldn't want everybody out here really sitting up here like, well, dang, it must be true. He don't never say nothing. Like, and I think that some people might look at it like, well, he ain't got to say nothing. It's her. Like, it's her. Like, they're saying this about her. And I understand that Kimmy is a strong woman, but at the same time, I personally would want my man to stand up and be like, listen, what you're not going to do is create this narrative and create these lies and say my wife are these things when she's not. She ain't never been a side chick, so get up off of that. Don't bring it up no more, or I'm going to have to bust you in your face. I'm going to have to knock you out. Don't get your head, don't get your wig split, don't get your car towed up, don't get your door kicked. All of that. I'm just saying, brother or not. And then like Martell is talking about, oh, well, when we were talking about all of that, only reason why I even said it was because your brother said it. He said that Marceau brought this information to him. And so Marceau was looking like, you already know if Martell said it, it's a lie. So I ain't finna believe that for 1 second. Like, I mean, whether it's a lie or not, Marceau be having his moments where it's like, bruh, it wouldn't surprise me if you was to throw your brother under the bus, if you have moments where, especially when your wife feels some type of way. Shoot, his wife was saying all this all the time. Just, it's the same situation. His wife was over here spreading the narrative as well. Did he say, all right now, babe, don't be saying that about my brother now. That wasn't the case now. No. But anyway, let me get up off of that for a moment. So with everything that was going on with Maurice, Kimmy, Kaiwa, the friend, Patricia, I'm sorry, and, you know, just every now and again, the side characters, if you want to say it, Letitia, they cleared that up because Letitia was trying to make it seem like, oh, well, when Patricia came over to my house, when Kaiwa came over to my house, she was the one who was saying that she was the side chick. And so Kimmy was like, okay, that's interesting because that's never the way that she's ever portrayed me to be, even though one would kind of be like, but she kind of did, when she would say that during the period that you kind of have to wait, which was like 6 months after you file for divorce and both parties have agreed to do so, You have to wait. And so I'm guessing that between that time period of 6 months, that's when Kimmy and Maurice, found one another and they were getting to know one another and all this other stuff. So it's just crazy. I don't know. And then Kimmy was like, out of respect for Kiowa, I called her and I told her that the story was gonna come up again, so that it doesn't like dismantle the relationship that we are trying to build with one another, because they have to deal with one another basically until the end of time, because that's Maurice's child's mother. It is what it is. So I don't know. I'm just like, why is everybody so fixated on them like that? Like, it's like they want it to be true. That's what I never understood. And the only thing that like kind of always made me side eye anybody in this situation was whenever Kiowa was literally brought into the situation, and the way she would talk about it. It always came across like she was the one who was still hurt, even though she was in a whole nother relationship. I'm like, ma'am, you married. You was already married, and then you came on the show. I don't even think they had gotten married yet, and she was in her feelings. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a different type of hurt when it's someone that you've had a child with that you were married to. I don't know. But I just always found that to be a little bit strange for me, especially since she had a whole. I'm talking about that man would be sitting right up there next to her, and she would be deep in her feelings. And I'd be like, what is going on with this? But anyway, Kimmy was just like, look, that wasn't a situation, and it just is what it is. Ain't nobody got time. So anyway, I feel like that was just somewhat of a fluff type of moment, but whatever. So anyway, we're moving right along, and they are discussing how everything went when they found out that Melody and Martell were going through it. They were trying to have a moment where they were going to get back together, and then it didn't happen. So it just is what it is. Like, I mean, Melody was trying, and he it's just one of them situations where you'll sit up there, you'll forgive the person, you'll try to move forward with that person, but that person, they just feel like, oh, she forgave me, so I'm in the house. I'm gonna, do the bare minimum, but I'm gonna still be out here in these streets. And that's what Martell was doing, apparently. And he ended up impregnating somebody else. They both was pregnant at the same time. And it's like, child, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. So that's the part we on right now. So, of course, they ended up going back into the back and forth that they've done this entire time after everything went downhill between Melody and Martell as to whether or not she had cheated on him, and the fact that he did cheat. Why did he sit up here talking about he's never cheated and he's not a cheater at heart? Everybody's reaction to him saying that was just like, I was like, what are you talking about? During the pandemic, like right after Melody had given birth, instead of being in the house, because everybody was supposed to be on lockdown, he was out here in these streets hours at a time. According to him, he was out there at gyms, which, the gyms were closed. He gonna say, well, my gym was open. Carlos King was like, well, what else was open? Was there anything else open that you were going to? We already know the thighs and butt cheeks was open, but anyway. But the fact that you felt the need to leave out the house, you have enough money to where you could have purchased gym equipment and had it put into the house. Put it out in the garage or whatever. Put it in a room, in a closet, and then take it outside if you did not have the extra room to do so, and worked out at the house. I'm sorry. That's no excuse to be like, let me leave the house at hours upon hours at a time, and your wife just had kids, and y'all are trying to reconcile after she found out that you have been out here cheating. I'm just saying. You've been out here doing the most. The heifer calling the phone, and then she getting buck with her, talking about some, this ain't your phone, put Martell on the phone. See, that's what get you slapped. That's what get you rolled up on and slapped as the wife. I'm just saying. So anyway, you a whole side chick. Like, she would have, like, it would not, I would not have batted an eyelash if the story continued to say, and after she tried me like that, I found out the location, or I said to her, pin your location. We can settle this. woman to woman, and I would have slapped her. Like, I'm just saying, I would have understood if she would have slapped and stomped her into the ground. I'm just like, girl, okay, y'all. So look, like, let me calm down. So anyway, they were still talking about all this foolishness. Of course, Martell is still talking about how she cheated all throughout the, like, let him tell it. He had his side chick for forever, and she had men running all up and through her. Well, she said that, after she left the house, even though they were not legally, separated, divorced, or none of that yet, she had a little situation for a month that didn't work out. He put his mouth on her, and that was it. So then he was like, you lying. You told me that you gave him fellatio, but you wouldn't give me fellatio. And so he talking about he got the recording. So after he said he had the recording, she started talking about, I don't really remember, but he said he got the recording. So, I mean, if it happened, I don't know. I don't remember all that. But all I know for a fact is that man put his mouth on me. So Carlos King was like, well, the fact that you over here talking about you don't remember, I'm pretty sure you will remember if you put your mouth on something. So I'm just like, I mean, yeah, you're right. But my thing is this. Cheating is wrong, especially when you have decided that you have this relationship and that you are going to be monogamous. Don't sit up here and tell somebody, I want to be monogamous with you, but then you eventually get out here and have side chicks. Now, it would not surprise me if Martell already had other stuff going on with other people before he met this other heifer that he ended up impregnating during his marriage, but I'm just saying. So anyway, like I said, cheating is wrong. But for him to basically try to equate the level of cheating that he did to what she did, I'm just like, sir, you tried her for years. 3 to 5 years you tried her. You were continuously having a whole relationship, a whole side relationship with the heifer you impregnated. We not even finna try to compare apples to oranges. That's what we not finna do. Not trying to say that what she did was right, whether she actually did cheat on him or not, but let's not compare apples to oranges. Stop the cap. Get up off of here with this foolishness. So anyway, so besides all of that, I'm just like, bro, you don't have a leg to stand on. It's got to stop. And then when all of this went down and they had moments where, she went off and when she found out all this stuff was going on and she was very, very upset. Melody's mama found out about it. And since at the time her mama was still working at Scope, which is the company that Marceau has, they were still all close to one another. So she was like, oh my gosh, can you, check on them? I don't want them to blow up and be out of proportion, blow out of proportion. Please check on them. Like she's worried about her child. And it's like, listen, that's her mama. Even though that's her mama, she should not have to go over there. Let somebody else that's supposed to be a really good friend to y'all come over there and cool the situation down, try to talk to y'all or whatever. So Marceau said he initially called Martell. He would not answer the phone. He said he called him over and over again. He wouldn't answer the phone. So then he ended up calling Melody. Melody at this time had finally left the house. And so you could tell she is beyond furious. She yelling and screaming on the phone. And he was like, Melody, where you at? She told him where she was at. And she was like right at this Chick-fil-A, near this Chick-fil-A on this street. And so he was like, all right, I'll meet up with you. So he met up with her in the Chick-fil-A parking lot and was talking to her. This is Marceau meeting up with Melody. So Martell is stuck talking about, I think it's inappropriate that you was sitting up here trying to have drinks with her. And like, he really, this whole time, he's been trying to infer that they've had sex and that he trying to liquor her up and drink with her and all this other stuff. Like, he really made it seem like he was like, oh, so since everything going on with you and your husband, you want to go out with drinks, to have drinks with me or something. Like, the way he would say it, that's the way it came off. Like, he really was waiting for his opportunity. Like, he waiting in the wings to do something with her and to go out on the town with her when he got a whole wife at the house. Now, I ain't never finna sit up here and excuse the behavior that I really feel in my heart of hearts that Marceau been out here doing. I really feel like, I done told y'all since this show came out, I really feel like Marceau been out here thotting and bopping. He probably was the main one out here with these heifers, these side heifers and some more. His dirt just ain't came to light. He probably was just smarter about it in the moment. And speaking of being smarter about it, one of the things that broke the camel's back with Melody with her marriage with Martell was that she was trying to forgive him. She was trying to move forward, but he kept on leaving the house, doing what he wasn't supposed to do, showing and giving signs that he was not going to change. And then he got to a point where she was like, why don't you, because he kept making comments. He was like, well, I'm just going, you might as well just accept the fact that I'm going to be out here cheating. And so she was like, what? Like, he kept making like snide remarks like that. So she was just like, And she was like, he told her, you need to take a note from these older women, because some of the older women, they don't care. They out here trying to get what they're going to get, or they're a sugar mama or whatever the situation might be. And so she was like, well, why don't you go and talk to the older men? I don't know why she thought that would be a good idea, because a lot of these older dudes think that sticking and moving is the way to be and the way to go. So I don't know why she thought that was the thing to say. What she should have said, if she was going to bring up another man, bring up anybody who is in a successful marriage who ain't trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, when I tell y'all, that's why a lot of people are confused by my decision to stay single. At least in this moment, as of right now, I'm not looking for nothing. But for the fact that I have parents who are loyal to one another, my daddy goes all the way up for my mama. Like, I have never seen such an amazing Black love situation outside of my parents. Like, I've seen a few, like my friend Mike that I tell y'all about from time to time, he go up for his wife and he's around my age. But as far as older relationships, that's why a lot of times when people be like, well, y'all see that the big mama and Big Mama and Granddaddy used to stay together. And a lot of them situations, they were staying together because the woman didn't have no money and she didn't have no choice. And he had families all around town and it was what it was. So don't try to sit up here and try to use that as an example. And that was not the example that my parents set. So I was here for Black love. I saw the example of Black love that I wanted to have within my own life. So I know what true love, and I know what somebody being faithful to somebody, if somebody giving the support and the love and the affection and all of that. I see what that is supposed to look like because I saw it every day in the house growing up with my parents. Like, almost all of my friends cannot say the same. So it's that's why a lot of my friends go through these broken relationships, and they are always with these toxic people. They live for toxic people, and then when they continuously go through it over and over again, I understand why. A lot of them didn't have their daddies in their lives and all that other stuff. Now, for me, I chose wrong. I allowed people to walk all over me, and it is what it is. That was my fault. It wasn't the fact that I didn't have a great father in my life. I definitely had an amazing father in my life. There are people to this day who live for my daddy. I have cousins who to this day live for my daddy, and they respect my daddy over their own daddy, if they even had their daddy in their life, because my father has always, my daddy, I basically had to share my father with other relatives and some of my friends because they didn't have active fathers in their lives. And I was happy to do so because for him to be one person, he had a whole lot of love to spread around and give. So the fact that I'm in the situation that I'm in now is kind of ironic. Like, you would think, oh, well, she had that example. Why she went about it? It is what it is. I was dumb. I was blinded by the wrong people. It is what it is. Now, whenever the Lord decide to come down and say this is the one, then maybe I'll give it a chance. But until then, I'm good where I'm at, single and happy. I have my peace. I'm here for that. So anyway, I'm just saying, like, I hate how Martell would sit up there and continuously make it seem like she was just really out here fighting and bopping the way he was. Like, he really was out here. He had feelings for this heifer. It wasn't no, just stick and move, because you ain't performing fellatio on me. No, you really came out here, was with this heifer, developed feelings for her, but then to save face, you would get on TV and try to degrade her, talking about she a peasant. So that's why she took to social media and started firing back, because it's like, you say all that, but then you sending me these messages and you popping up on me. You still trying to get up in between these thighs and butt cheeks, though. Come on now. But anyway, he just get on my nerve. For him, if it ain't going his way, he gonna try to throw dirt. He gonna try to throw you under the bus to try to save face. And it's like, stop it. Stop it. Because at this point now, Letitia is trying to figure out, okay, is my husband really out here trying to have drinks with Melody? Like, is he really out here trying to do that when all of us supposed to be friends? Like, is that what's going on? Stop it. They already got enough issues going on as it is that have not been unearthed because she wants to turn a blind eye to stuff. And, you know, like I said, he seems to be smarter about it. The thing that Melody did not like was that Martell was showing that he was going to be smarter about cheating. Because the older men that he spoke to told him, you need to get documentation and you need to, you know, deal with somebody who ain't got nothing to lose and all this other stuff, or somebody who does have something to lose, because they will be less inclined to tell your business. So, child, don't nobody have time for that foolishness. So we're getting down to the end of this episode, and he talking about, oh, well, I really was trying to make amends. We was going to church together, and I had the pastor praying over me and whatever. Child, forget all that. Carlos King was like, had you met the side heifer first, would you have married Melody? So they dragging the answer out, and it's to the point where Kimmy done said on her mic, the silence is deafening, and that's facts. That is definite facts, and it don't make no sense, because it's like, and I want to know if, like, my thing is, if that's your answer, are you really thinking with your head, or are you thinking with your head, if you know what I mean? Anyway, y'all, let me get up out of here. Because this is just some foolishness on top of foolishness. Next time, they're going to start bringing in other people that aren't the main characters on this show, and they're going to continue the conversation, and I guess we'll get the answer next week. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's get down in the comment section and discuss all of this foolishness, because that's exactly what this is. All right, y'all be safe and have a good one.